We are gathered for the
Yeah.
93 winemaking season.
Yes. There it is, the 93 Zinfandel.
Let her rip, John.
What's it next, Brian? This first one in here now, or is this one way in the back?
Yeah. Look at that beautiful wine.
Hey, you got you factory trained. Grab this one?
Yep.
A nice steady flow through there. Just think, I could be replaced for about a $3,000 must pump. Is that right, Brian?
What's that?
I could be replaced for a $3,000 must pump?
Yeah. That's true, John.
Uh-oh. Half a bottle penalty.
When it gets up to here.
Those two things that are up under his ears are...
Those little round things behind his ears.
Yes, okay.
Okay.
So I think we need a bulb or something.
No. No. It's a little ways there.
At least one more.
At least one more bucket.
The insurance companies. I'll find a way around that.
Oh, yeah. But, I mean, that's the problem.
That's
All
fine.
this big business is now
Yes.
involved, and they're not going to let go easily.
Ready?
Yeah. Okay.
Got a lot of juice.
Yeah. Well, it's sort of a rushing river.
I get that. I might pick this thing up on it. That's all right. I'll give them a good pull in here when they come out. Pressing. Should that probably do it? Ah, that's acting like an Italian.
I don't walk all the way around.
Oh, I see. We have to put a blindfold on him. Easy.
You want to stop? Okay, when it's done.
Need any sulfite or anything, Nick?
To get forced through. There's a lot of carbon dioxide.
I'll hold it down. That hose, that little thing's got to go down inside. No, inside the. There, right.
Teaspoon of citric and a teaspoon of sulfite.
Yeah, got it. We might use 2 or 3. It's always worth having it.
What's this?
I'd rather have a bottle in front of me than a frontal lobotomy. Okay, hold it.
The chance as he walks around in a circle.
I'd rather have.
Yellow jackets are getting active.
Pheromones, yeah.
They go in, they're figuring. They're in there anymore. And then they come out again.
No, like Hotel California, right? How much do we need to fill up that? Probably about that much.
About that
Fill up
much again, yeah.
Okay. Why don't we take this and then just...
Now, do you float anything on top of these?
This should be, we should fill up full enough. This is still fermenting, so it's still giving up carbon dioxide.
But the others, you'll float some nitrogen on top.
Yeah,
and-
but that stainless, we'll have to put a bunch of nitrogen on the top because it... Okay guys, anytime you feel like...
Any resistance yet?
Yes.
Ready for another bar?
Or waiting a while.
Can't compress it like
It's one of the laws of nature.
Same direction now, guys.
Hey, what do you take that for, an Italian?
yeah, this is the Italian way where we both go going, God, this is hard. Okay, go. Let it
No,
run.
actually I thought it was the Polish way, but you
Oh,
got
that's
it
good.
Time.
Yeah. Let's take one more turn on it and then we can probably go and have chips and salsa.
On a frontal lobotomy, right?
Yes, and a frontal lobotomy. Let's give this tank here lots of carbon dioxide so we don't get too much oxidation.
A barrel lock for that too?
We don't have one for this, John, so that's why last year I think we put in that screw top and brought it down into a jug of water, as I recall. You know that one we use for,
Print moving?
yeah. I can't see it now.
Well, Brian, give us a summary on the wine. We had 4 fermenters full of Zinfandel.
Now we're down to about 75 gallons of juice, and then we've got 6.5, 5. We'll end up with about 10 gallons of pressed juice. And then what we'll do is, as the juice, as we rack these, this will get racked in about 2 weeks. All of these wines, the Zin will get racked in 2 weeks into new American oak, and then we'll top up with the pressed juice. And then we'll rack again in another 2 weeks, and then we'll take off some more of the pressed juice to add. So gradually the pressed juice is just used for top up. And then the last press, which is the heaviest, the most tannic juice, gets put into jugs, and typically we just get it left over. So we just turn it into vinegar because it tends to be a bit bitter, slightly very tannic. So I think we're just about done on this one. What I'll do is I'm just going to put the pump on here loosely. You don't want any
It's been
explosions.
fermenting on the skins for 5.5 days.
5.5 days. Normally I really like to do it sort of 10 to 14 days because you produce a really deep, intense, high extract Zin. And you can always produce some changes to it by racking, by a lot of racking. Basically, if you have a very tannic wine, what you do is you rack it a lot during the first 2 or 3 months, and it causes the tannins to oxidize and form long chains, so the tannins gradually disappear from the flavor. So that's the goal.
And we tasted a little residual sugar today.
There will be. The choice was either that or to do a midnight crash, a midnight press sometime during the week. We will do that with a Chardonnay because that Chardonnay is still very active. So we'll just leave that for at least another 2 or 3 days. This is still sitting at about 12.5 degrees Brix, which is a bit high to put into a barrel. And we're using a top fermenting yeast, so you can't, with a top fermenting yeast, you need surface area. You put it in a barrel and you fill up the barrel and you've got very little surface area, so you end up with a lot of spillage. So that's why those will go out probably Wednesday or Thursday. So we'll organise that. So Bill, you'll be able to look forward to a Wednesday night pump and press.
Sounds like fun. Can we take a look at the Chardonnay?
You bet. Let's open up the barrel. And you can have a look inside, and you can see this is all pretty active stuff. It's still,
You can see it bubbling and still working.
yeah. Now this is the top fermenting yeast, and the yeast actually forms a carpet on top of the must.
What kind of yeast is it?
This is Chanson, and we used it back in '89, but we had bad luck with it then because it was the dry yeast. We got it in its dry form, and it wasn't viable, so they withdrew it from the market. As you can see, this one is really going incredibly strongly. This has got just this thick layer of yeast working on the top, and it just takes a little longer to ferment. And you can't ferment it in oak. You have to ferment it in something that has a large surface area, but it really does a nice job on the wine.
What yeast did we use with the Zen?
Well, we used a combination of yeasts. We used 2 buckets of YC Zinfandel and a bucket of Prise de Mousse and 1 of Asmenhausen. And they all produce slightly different flavors. The YC Zen produces a very soft berry-like flavor. The Asmenhausen tends to be a little more structured. The Prise de Mousse produces some spicy flavors. So hopefully it improves the complexity of the wine, so that you end up with something that is got a little more character to it, a little more variety. And which is what I like in a Zen. I like peppery fruit and a little bit of nice chocolatey flavors to it, as well as the berries and spice. And we're able to get that that's what the Petite Syrah does. So we added 4 boxes of Petite Syrah to the mix, and that produces nice chocolatey flavors and also produces some raspberry tones and gives the wine a lot more depth, a lot of colour. So
And where'd the grapes come from this year?
this year, every year we buy them from Dry Creek. They produce the best Zinfandel in the world, and I don't see any reason to change it. We've made we've made wine out of their grapes for a lot since 1987, and every year we've done a good wine. Some of them, of course, we didn't make it in 90, beg pardon. 90 was the only year that we didn't make a Zin. 90 was the year I did a Zinfandel port, and those grapes I got from Calaveras. Oh yeah, that'll keep working for another 2 or 3 days off the skins. Let's go and see how that fresh juice is coming along.
about 20 gallons of fresh juice from the Chardonnay skins. Turn it into vinegar and might use it for topping up.